6 trucks blocked my driveway before sunrise. Men in matching vests screaming I had no right to live here. "This is HOA property now," the woman in pearls shouted, while 2 officers stood there, unsure who to believe. "I'm Daniel Reyes, 38, a widowed father who'd just bought a bankrupt 40-acre farm to rebuild a life for my daughter." The farm sat past the county line, technically outside Ridgeview Estates HOA, though the board never seemed to notice that detail. Karen Whitfield, HOA president for 11 years, treated every inch near her subdivision as her personal kingdom to control. She'd bulldozed a neighbor's fence once, claiming aesthetic violations, and nobody on the board ever dared question her. My realtor warned me quietly, "Watch out for Karen. She thinks the whole county answers to her clipboard." 2 days after closing, Karen appeared at my gate, clipboard in hand, demanding I submit renovation plans for approval. "I'm not in your HOA," I said calmly, showing her the county plat map proving my property's independent boundary. She laughed, sharp and cold. "Every property touching our access road falls under our covenant. Sweetheart, read the fine print." I hadn't signed anything, paid no dues, received no covenant packet, yet she spoke like ownership was already settled. That night, someone spray-painted HOA violation across my new mailbox, and Karen's truck was the last one on my road. I filed a police report, but the responding deputy just shrugged. "Civil matter, sir. Talk to your association." Karen began mailing me fake violation notices, fines stacking up for a barn that predated her entire subdivision. I called the county recorder's office. A clerk laughed. "Sir, that farm has never been annexed into any HOA." Armed with documents, I brought them to Karen's next meeting, expecting an apology. Instead, she smiled and shredded them. "Paperwork can be lost," she said sweetly, "but community harmony matters more than your little farmhouse technicalities." Neighbors started avoiding eye contact with me at the feed store, whispering that Karen had plans for troublemakers. My daughter Mia asked why the lady kept driving past our house slowly, staring at our chickens. I installed trail cameras along the fence line, more for peace of mind than any real expectation of trouble. A week later, Karen's security team, 4 men in unmarked vests, parked at my gate, blocking deliveries. "Authorized patrol," one man said, hand on his belt, though his shirt read Whitfield Property Management, not HOA security. I asked for credentials. He refused, stepping closer until I backed toward my own porch, heart pounding. That night, my camera caught Karen's nephew cutting my irrigation line, laughing while filming it for someone off-screen. I saved the footage, said nothing, and kept smiling at every meeting like a man with no leverage at all. Karen escalated, calling code enforcement over livestock odor, despite the county explicitly zoning my land agricultural. An inspector came, sniffed the air, checked my permits, and left without writing a single citation against me. Furious, Karen posted in the neighborhood app, calling me a hostile outsider endangering property values for everyone. Comments poured in, some defending me quietly, most too afraid to publicly contradict the woman who controlled their fines. For 2 weeks, nothing happened. No trucks, no notices, no drive-bys. I almost believed she'd finally backed off. I used the quiet to repair fences, plant winter wheat, and let Mia name the new baby goats. A retired surveyor named Walt stopped by, said he'd mapped this land decades ago and remembered the original boundary fight. Whitfield's daddy tried annexing this exact farm back in the 90s, Walt said. Courts shut him down cold. Walt's story lit something in me. I requested the original 1998 court ruling from county archives the next morning. The clerk found it fast. A permanent injunction barring any HOA expansion onto my parcel. Still legally binding today. I made copies, mailed one to Karen, one to the sheriff's office, one to my own lawyer for safekeeping. Karen's response wasn't an apology. It was 4 HOA security trucks parked across my driveway the following dawn. "You're trespassing on association-adjacent land," she announced through a bullhorn, as if repetition made the claim true. I stood on my porch, camera rolling, and read the 1998 injunction aloud for everyone gathered to hear clearly. Karen's face tightened. "That's outdated paperwork," she snapped, though her own hands trembled holding her clipboard. Neighbors filming on their phones exchanged glances. Some had never heard this land was legally protected from her. One of her security guards quietly backed his truck away, muttering he didn't sign up for this mess. Karen doubled down, threatening to have my animals seized as public nuisances under association bylaws I wasn't bound by. I called animal control myself, preemptively, documenting every healthy goat and chicken before she could stage a complaint. That evening, an anonymous email arrived with attached financial records, HOA dues collected from my farm's prior owner for years. The sender signed only a tired board member. Karen had been billing a bankrupt, absent owner and pocketing difference. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, who whistled low. "This isn't just harassment, Daniel. This might be fraud." Meanwhile, Karen printed flyers calling me unstable, dropping them in mailboxes while I slept through another quiet night. Mia found one flyer on our porch and asked, crying, "Why does everyone think we did something wrong?" "Daddy?" That question broke something in me. I stopped being patient and started building a case. Methodically, patiently, relentlessly. I hired Walt to formally resurvey the boundary, stamped and notarized, undeniable in any courtroom Karen might drag me into. My lawyer subpoenaed HOA financial records, revealing years of special assessments charged against properties never legally part of Ridgeview. 3 other homeowners, once afraid, quietly reached out, sharing their own stories of Karen's manufactured violations and silent threats. One elderly widow said Karen fined her $4,000 over unauthorized solar panels installed a decade before Karen's presidency. Together we compiled a folder thick enough to make even my lawyer raise both eyebrows in disbelief. Karen, sensing the tide shifting, requested an emergency board meeting, framing me as the community's newest existential threat. I didn't attend. Instead, I mailed the county attorney copies of everything, certified, with a formal fraud complaint attached. 3 days later, Karen's security trucks returned, this time with a locksmith, attempting to change my own gate lock. "We're securing hazardous property," she declared to the small crowd she'd summoned to witness my supposed downfall. I stepped outside holding the county's response letter, requesting deputies confirm ownership before anyone touched my property again. A patrol car arrived, the same deputy from before, but this time carrying updated instructions from his sergeant. "Mom, step away from the gate," he said, reading the fraud complaint number aloud from his notepad. Karen protested, insisting authority, insisting precedent, insisting she'd always handled things this way without any real objection before. The deputy radioed for backup as Karen's nephew tried filming over the fence, tripping the same camera line from before. That footage, time-stamped weeks earlier, showed him cutting my irrigation, now evidence, not just suspicion, playing on a phone screen. A second patrol car arrived, followed by a county investigator holding printed financial statements pulled from HOA banking records. "Mrs. Whitfield," the investigator said, "we need to discuss unauthorized assessments collected against non-member properties since 2019. Karen's confidence cracked visibly, her clipboard slipping from fingers that had signed fraudulent notices for over 5 years. "This is a misunderstanding," she stammered. But the locksmith, unpaid and uneasy, had already quietly driven away minutes earlier. Deputies asked her to step away from my gate. She refused, gripping the fence post like it belonged to her. "Mom, you're now trespassing on private property with an active restraining boundary," the deputy said, reaching for handcuffs. Karen and 2 security men were arrested that afternoon, cuffed beside the mailbox they'd once vandalized in secret. News spread fast through Ridgeview. The board dissolved within a month, dues frozen pending a full county audit. My lawyer secured a permanent restraining order, formally recognizing my farm as independent, with damages awarded for harassment. Mia laughed again, feeding goats under a mailbox that finally read only our name, quiet, unbothered, and entirely ours.